You wake up every day with a name, a face, a memory, and a story you've told yourself 1,000 times. You say, "This is who I am." You point to the mirror, to your job title, to your past, to your wounds and your victories, and you call that identity. You think you know who you are. But what if I told you that everything you believe about yourself is only a shadow of your true self? What if who you think you are is just a collection of labels, thoughts, and roles, none of which define the core of your being? You are not your thoughts. They come and go. They change with moods, seasons, situations. One day you're confident, the next day you're anxious. One moment you're inspired, the next you're doubtful. If you were your thoughts, then you would be unstable, unreliable, ever shifting. But you're not. You are the one who observes those thoughts, who watches them come and go like clouds across a sky. That awareness, that stillness behind the noise, is closer to who you are than any thought you can think. You are not your emotions. They rise like tides and crash like waves, sometimes beautiful, sometimes terrifying. You felt love, anger, joy, fear, grief, hope, all of them. But they pass, don't they? If you were your emotions, you'd be as fleeting as a summer breeze. But you endure, you remain. The emotions swirl within you, but they are not the whole of you. You are not your past. The things you've done, the mistakes you've made, the people you've hurt, the pain you've suffered. They are chapters in your story, but they are not the book. The past may have shaped your personality, but it has not built your essence. Your past is a place of reference, not residence. You are not bound to be who you were. You are free to become something entirely new. You are not your successes. Achievements are beautiful, but they do not define your value. You've been praised. You've been applauded. But remove the awards, strip the titles, and what remains? That is you. You are not your failures either. They are lessons, not life sentences. They may have humbled you, but they did not ruin you. They refined you. And still, they do not define you. You are not your job, not your profession, not your resume. Those are roles you play in the world's theater, but behind the costume, behind the performance, there's a deeper presence. You may wear many masks, but you are not the mask. You are the actor. You are the consciousness behind the role. The role changes, the actor endures. You are not your body. Your body is the vehicle, the instrument. It ages, it changes, it evolves. But inside the eyes, behind the skin, beneath the heartbeat, there is something watching, something aware, something alive. That is the real you. That is the presence you cannot touch or see, but always feel. It's the same now as it was when you were a child. Something eternal, something unshakable. You are not who others say you are. You've been complimented. You've been criticized. You've been misunderstood. People have tried to define you through their own lenses, but their version of you is not you. They see only fragments. No one has lived inside your mind. No one has felt the depth of your longing, the weight of your silence, the fire of your dreams. Don't let someone else's perception become your prison. So who are you? You are the awareness behind the experience. You are the silence behind the sound. You are the being before the doing. You are not this character. You are the space in which the character unfolds. And when you realize that, when you feel that truth deeply in your bones, a great freedom emerges. You no longer have to protect an image. You no longer have to defend a belief. You no longer have to maintain a facade. You are allowed to be fluid, to change, to grow, to fall, to rise again without shame. Because your worth is not in who you pretend to be. It is in what you already are, vast, whole, limitless. When you stop identifying with the surface, you begin to discover the depth. You begin to feel the stillness inside you that never leaves. You begin to move through life with a kind of calm curiosity. Because you are no longer chasing a fixed identity. You are no longer trying to prove anything. You are simply being. And that's enough. Imagine how liberating that is. To walk into a room and not need to impress. To fail at something and not take it personally. To succeed at something and not let it inflate your ego. To be criticized and not be shaken. To be praised and still remain grounded. That is real confidence. Not the loud kind that demands attention, but the quiet kind that needs no validation. It arises from knowing, not believing, but knowing that you are not who you think you are. You are more. And when you stop clinging to your identity, you become open to transformation. You begin to live in alignment with your deeper truth, not your mental stories. You begin to act from inspiration, not from fear. You begin to love without attachment, speak without pretending, live without armor. And people feel it. They're drawn to your presence, not your performance, because authenticity radiates. It doesn't need polish. It doesn't need perfection. It just needs truth. But the mind resists this. The mind wants to cling to an image. It says, I'm this kind of person. I don't do that. I always do this. But life doesn't care about your categories. Life wants you to be fluid, to evolve, to outgrow your own definitions. So let go. Let yourself become unfamiliar to your past self. Let yourself change in ways you never imagined. That's not betrayal. It's awakening. You don't need to know who you are in every moment. You just need to be. To show up. To breathe. To listen to the moment as it unfolds and respond from presence, not from a fixed identity. That's where the magic happens. That's where creativity flows. That's where joy is born, not from certainty, but from surrender. Think about the times you felt most alive. Maybe it was dancing freely. Maybe it was standing at the edge of a cliff, looking at the vast sky. Maybe it was laughing with someone you love, completely unguarded. In those moments, you weren't thinking about who you were. You weren't managing your image. You were just being, fully, freely, fearlessly. That's your natural state. That's who you are underneath all the noise. So the invitation is simple. Stop trying to become someone. Start allowing what already is. Stop chasing an image. Start uncovering the truth. Let go of the story. Embrace the silence beneath it. And when you do, you'll find something extraordinary. Yourself, not as a concept, not as a persona, but as a living mystery, unfolding moment by moment. This doesn't mean you'll never feel lost again. But when you do, you'll remember that being lost is just the mind's way of saying it's not in control. You, the deeper you, are never lost. You are the space in which the feeling of lost arises. And that space is always still, always clear, always home. Let this truth settle into your bones. Let it loosen the grip of fear and doubt. Let it soften the edges of your identity. You are not who you think you are. You are far more than that. You are the silent witness of life itself. And from that place, everything becomes possible. Nothing is missing. Nothing is broken. Nothing needs to be added. You were whole before anyone told you otherwise. You were enough before the world gave you standards to measure by. You were worthy before you earned anything. And you will remain worthy, whole, and enough, regardless of what you achieve, how you look, or what others believe. The greatest freedom comes not from achieving more, but from realizing what you already are. The mind may chase status, success, and certainty, but your soul only wants truth, depth, and presence. So come back to yourself, not the idea of yourself, but the being that breathes you. The consciousness that hears these words right now. That is who you are, and that is more than enough. The next time doubt creeps in, remember this: thoughts are not truth. Feelings are not facts. Labels are not limits. And identities are not destinies. You are the one who watches, the one who chooses, the one who lives behind the curtain. You are not who you think you are. You are what you are, and that is something words will never fully capture. So live, not from a script, but from a spark. Speak, not to impress, but to connect. Create, not to be remembered, but to feel alive. Love, not for approval, but from overflow. And most of all, be as you are. Be as life intended. Be as presence unfolding. Because that presence, that sacred awareness, that is you. And you don't need to think about it. You just need to return to it, again and again. until it's not something you believe, but something you live. You are not who you think you are. You are so much more. And now you are free.